So I want to pose a question to you that popped in my mind while I was driving. And, it was just something I was thinking about. And so I want to pose it to you. If you had a choice from God that if God snapped his finger and you can either be patient or loving, would you take it? Now, there could be somebody out there that'd be like, yeah, sounds good. I could be more loving, I could be more patient, and all that. But it really leads to, the whole second, statement I'm thinking about is that you could either have a road without trial or the road with trial. So which one would you choose? A lot of people don't like going through, negative circumstances. The trials are hard and they don't want to deal with them. And a lot of people apparently suffer through them and, just waiting for peace to come. But you have to wonder why we go through trials, you know? And I told my cousin this, and it's something that I've heard, that for gold to be refined, the heat has to be turned up, I think it's 7 times before you could see your reflection in it. And that, I believe that's what God does with us, is that, he wants to see a reflection of himself in us through these, different trials. So that may be a good point for you, but, I really want to give some examples because personally, I wouldn't take, God snapping his fingers in order in order for me to be patient or loving. So you may be asking, why? Why not? Well, here's some things to, here's a question that I want to pose to you. If you wanted it at the snap of a finger, what would you miss? You may be like, what are you talking about? Well, here's something to think about. If God snapped his fingers and you became automatically patient and loving, then you wouldn't know what it's like to persevere through the trial. With each trial, there is a testimony attached to it of telling people how good God is and what God can do. A third would be, you know, you wouldn't give people in the body of Christ a chance to minister to you with the wisdom that God has given them. They went through the same trials. So if you, at the snap of a finger, if you were already patient and loving, then you wouldn't be able to be used by the body, and you wouldn't be able to allow anybody else to be used. Another is closeness with others. When you share your circumstance, people bear with your burdens. And then there's also closeness to God, because if things are always good, we never spend time with God. But when things are bad, we always go to him. Another is being guided by God. When we're going through a hard circumstance, we get impatient people and we get unloving people, we need to go to him and say, Lord, what do I do? And he was like, be patient. Do this for them, do that for them to show my love. You wouldn't have any of that at the snap of a finger if God granted that to you. You wouldn't be guided by God in order to know what to do. Another is that through each trial, there's wisdom that comes. And I would doubt anybody's wisdom that had already received, you know, to be loving and to be, patient already. I wouldn't trust their wisdom, because wisdom comes through each trial that God gets a believer successfully through. And then finally, what comes to mind is understanding. When you're going through a hard circumstance, God builds that understanding in you. So with understanding, you're understanding where a fellow brother and sister are going through. You can relate to them. You can have empathy. And so you share in each other's sufferings. And so, that is basically, the reason for this video is to give somebody encouragement in this about, when they go through trials and such. And a lot of people make, statements like, I wish God would just give me, his love and patience so I wouldn't have to go through this. But you would miss an awful lot. So my ending question is, which path would you choose? So I pray this video has blessed you. Thanks for taking the time to watch.